time for shop talk, and yeah, you know the deal. Chillin' with the SmokeFellas, and yeah, we keep it real. Lucky, Lefty, Ben, and KDL. Sit down for lady talk with Smoke and Joe as well. Sit down and watch the shop talk. Sit down and come to shop talk. Go ahead, puff the cigars. If you ain't ready for us, come enjoy the shop talk.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. What's up? This is your boy, Mr. Smokefella, Humidor Sports Podcast by way of SportsZone Chicago. Today, the SmokeFellas are live, coming from the Humidor Cigar Lounge. So we all over the place in here, man, in various spots. The Cigar Lounge, man, about to come and give you this train ride of sports. So check it out, man. I'm finna go through my panel. But first off, I'm smoking a house stick here from Humidor Lounge, man. It's full body, about to get it in. So Mr. Smokefella is happy that you guys are with us today. So first off, I'm going to come with my man, with Mr. 5 o'clock. He always got a drink in hand. Lucky Lefty.
Yep. Still cocktailing. Y'all already know how it is. Yeah, welcome everybody. Glad everybody can make it today. Like he says, 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm rocking brown sugar today.
He went to go get coffee. All right, Ivan, we back.
We're live, Ben. We're live.
All right. Okay, man. Check it out, man. We had some technical difficulties here at the Cigar Lounge, man. Had to reset the router, but your boys are back into place, and we about to get it started. All right. So we're going to put some smoke in the air. Pat, go ahead. Take that away, man. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. We're going to put some smoke in the air. Today we're putting smoke in the air we watched Thursday's game. We watched the Philadelphia Eagles play the New York Giants. Game was as we expected it to be. But then your boy Daniel Jones, he broke out on it. 80-yard run. He wasn't running. But then guess what? You seen his eyes get big. You seen him start shaking. And he tripped over his own feet. Better yet, Casper the Ghost tripped him. So we're going to put some smoke in the air for him. Sorry about that, Giants. Let's go, Ben. Back to you with that sports news, brother. All right, you got that clip for me?
There you go. What?
All right. So you saw that clip. Man down. Ricky.
I'm telling you, quit playing. Terrible.
So Kevin Lauder, how do you feel about this, man? I mean, you are the resident Giants fan. What went through your mind as that play transpired?
First of all, I had absolutely no explanation. I couldn't explain it. The man was running harder than he's ever ran before, faster than he ever ran before. I can't explain it, man. I have no explanation. It's the Giants. Stuff like that only happens to us.
Hey, Kev, when they did the analytics, my man was running 21 miles an hour. So he was getting it in.
He was rolling. He was rolling now. For a quarterback, he was running hard and fast. I have no explanation. None.
So, Kev, how about this tidbit? I mean, Mitch Trubisky would have made that touchdown. I'll wait.
No, that's not necessarily, because he'd have tripped in the backfield. So Daniel Jones broke out 80 yards on his own, running faster than he's ever ran in his life. Stuff happens. I can't blame it. He didn't trip over his own foot. He didn't turn around. Hey, I have no explanation. I know that's going to be on like Shackling the Fool for life.
Hey, Lefty, what was your thoughts on it?
The ghost of Reggie White tackled him in open field. That was absolutely horrible. How do you trip? I mean, man, it was just Sports Center highlight, man. He's going to be on Shackling the Fool. Top 10 worst plays of the year, just like the whole night. And if they wouldn't have scored a touchdown, if they would not have scored a touchdown out of that, end up getting a field goal, it would have been even worse. But did you see his own teammates laughing at him? Like they was on the sidelines cracking up, dude. Like, what can you do, man? That had to be probably his most embarrassing moment in his life, not just sports, but in his whole life, man.
Well, you know, if the Giants would have won the game, then technically it wouldn't have been so bad. But since they lost the game in the fourth quarter, now it's a travesty, it's a joke, it's a mockery.
But they ended up scoring on the drive on that. Even after he tripped, they ended up scoring a touchdown. Though.
Right,
so
they scored on the play.
They ended up scoring. That's what I was saying. If they wouldn't, if he wouldn't have scored, if they would end up having to settle for a field goal, it would have been 10 times worse.
Pat, you had something to say? Go ahead.
I was just saying, you know how Daniel Jones' teammates was laughing at him. Kevin Lauder boys was laughing at him for even rooting for the Giants because he was in it. But when that happened, that was it. It's like somebody busted front tire on his wheel. He had to walk his bike home.
I had no explanation. None. And the whole place turned and looked at me like I did it.
We're going to get off of this debauchery and we're going to move on into some sports news.
Hold on,
Yes.
hold on. Before you move into sports news, Daniel Jones failed. Hey, it happens. But the bad part is Evan Ingram dropped the pass that was in his hands. That to me was even worse.
For game. They would have had to spend their timeouts. Game was over.
As I said, debauchery. Let's move on. It's like watching paint dry, watching that game. Sports news. Here in Illinois, the IHSA is allowing spring and summer sports players to play on travel teams at the same time that they playing during the year. What's your thoughts on it? KDL, you've been strong on sports players, the seasons being pushed back, recruiting and all of that. What's your thoughts on this one?
It shows you sports is more important than education. The ISSA, that's high school. You're going to have these high school people traveling. You're going to have them on sports teams or whatever. But I guess education is being done virtually now. So I guess they can get away with it. What you're doing is you're treating this like college sports. So you're not a student athlete. Now you're an athlete student, right? Which means your sports are coming before your education. In my eyes, correct me if I'm wrong. How are you traveling? Now, this ain't college. This is high school. So you're not focusing on the education. You're focusing on the athletics. It's good for the athlete. More exposure, you get scholarships, all that. But as far as why you're there, as far as going to school, you're not focusing on that. How are they traveling?
So, Kev, let me ask you a question. What about the kid that has been working very so the kid that's in inner city that doesn't have the money to go to school and he's been busting his ass all year long and now his season is being pushed back and so forth, and this is his chance to kind of break the cycle in his family and actually go to college.
Yeah. It's a chance for that. The inner city kid, that scholarship is going to mean everything for him. Yes, absolutely. It affects everybody. This shows you sports is big, man. And when they say all this student athlete, it's really athlete student. I've said that from day one. I've been a college athlete. I know your sport, depending on the sport, basketball, football, is more important in their eyes than your education. You just have to get your education along the way.
Well, I'm a student athlete, and I'm gonna say student first because I got my education, and I'm gonna disagree with you on that. But I'm gonna go down to Sly Dog because Sly Dog seems like he has some issue with your comments. Let's go, Sly.
My whole thing is this: the kids are suffering. They already been going through a pandemic all year. The Illinois High School Association said they're going to allow them to play on travel teams. They ain't forcing them. So all this about is being athletes first, and that doesn't make any sense. They're allowing them. So if the child chooses to, it's okay, and it won't be held against them. Second of all, it's a pandemic. Third of all, it's a pandemic. Let the kids go. Let the kids enjoy, try to do something they ain't been able to do all year. Stop. And to say you was an athlete and a student is an arbitrage because you never have been, Kevin Lowry. Stop.
Okay. Hold on.
Number one, I've been an athlete all my life. Number one. That's something you have not. Let's just get that straight.
I see that you guys are gonna go back and forth all day. I see that's the type of relationship right now. So we're gonna move on a little bit and let's talk about this baseball for a moment. We got the World Series going on. It's Rays and the Dodgers. Dodgers are up 2-1. I'm gonna come to you, PG. What do you think about the series so far?
So far, it's been a good series, man. I missed the last game. So far, it's been a good series. What's that one boy named from the Dodgers, man? He just keeps coming up big for them, Ben. You know which one I'm talking about. He play outfield.
Mookie Betts.
There it is. He named after Mookie Blaylock. man, that dude been coming up huge for that team. He didn't hit a walk. He didn't hit a home run in each of the World Series games. It's gonna be hard, man. The Dodgers gonna mess around and pull it out though, as far as I see it.
Well, I'm kind of uneasy about the Dodgers pitchers. They haven't been on top of their game. They kind of been hills and valleys, but for the most part, like you said, Mookie is showing that money was well worth it. Lefty, speak on it, my man.
Can kill all that. Oh yeah, man, you got it. I'll do it. But yeah, Mookie Betts showing he's the best player in baseball. You can kill all that. Mike Trout, kill all that. Mookie Betts is the best player in baseball. The best player all around playing.
Are you calling it here?
I'm impressed with the series just because right now, he's the best player in the league right now. Yes. No. All around. Offense, defense, the whole
Mike Trout.
Facts. Yes. Facts. You talking speed, the whole nine. Like the dude is the best in the league. I don't care what nobody say. But back to the World Series.
Yeah.
I like it just because the fact that there's a lot of runs being scored. So when it comes to baseball, I mean the no hitters and the little 2-1 games are great, but with this, man, they put enough runs, which is really surprising because Tampa Bay has a hell of a pitching staff. They actually got 3 dudes that could be aces, in their rotation right now. But the Dodgers are getting to them, man. I expect the Dodgers to take it. Yeah, I mean, I'm pulling for the Dodgers just because Magic affiliated with them, and my man Mookie, I said it, Sly, there it is.
So
first of all, he's a good player.
Hold on, Kev. We're not gonna get into this Mookie Betts, Mike Trout debate. We can do that all day long, man, and we're gonna go back and forth and not come with a agreement on this one. Mike Trout's he a baller. Mookie, he a baller. Mookie has been stepping up in the World Series. That's what. So
you gonna cut Kevin off to make your point.
No,
he can't rebut.
No, we got to keep
exactly
this.
What he did.
We got to keep this train moving, my man. We got to keep this. Yeah,
that's exactly what he did.
We got to keep this train moving, and we can't get into these sidebar debates. So yes,
right.
I cut him
but
off.
You was able to get your point across. Go ahead, host.
Hey, Kev, you don't want to be removed from the screen, so I advise you to watch yourself, player.
Oh, now I get removed from the screen.
Yeah, I'm going to dodge them bullets. I'm going to dodge them because I see you shooting them at me. Hey, let's talk about Penn State men's basketball coach as he resigned, Pat Chambers, amid allegations of abuse to players. Matter of fact, he threatened one of his players that he's going to put a noose around the player's neck. I mean, come on, my man. We already went through this with Iowa and the football coach, man. I mean, what are these coaches thinking, especially in this day and age, by putting your hands on players? We talked about the coach that punched a player last week. I mean, this is ridiculous. Sly, let's go, man.
Hey, man, I don't know what these coaches got on their mind, man. I mean, he talked about putting a noose around somebody's neck, and then only that, he just resigned because he's going to get hired by another school. It's the good old boys club. That's what's going to end up happening. That was terrible, man. But the problem is, these coaches going to run into the wrong young fella, and it's going to be a problem, okay? And they said it ain't the first time he threatened to do that, man. I mean, it's just getting ridiculous. From dude from Iowa, man, it never stops. The Bobby Knight effect has continued in college sports, and it's just getting ridiculous, man. It really is.
Well, speaking of Bobby Knight, man, Bobby threw chairs and yelled and screamed. I don't think it ever got to the point like this with Bobby. I don't recall, him being racist or whatever, or it just never came out, or him putting his hands on a player. He just threw chairs and yelled a lot. But man, it's crazy.
Bobby Knight choked out his best player.
Did he choke out Calvin Chaney? Wasn't it Calvin Chaney?
No, it was the white guy. He's a head coach on one of these teams. I forgot his name. I think of it, I already said, but he grabbed him around the throat. I mean, but you know, Bobby Knight, that's who he was, though. But these guys, man, with these racist, Bobby Knight wasn't racist. He was just crazy. But these guys with the noose, the guy telling a man about his family, it's just, they got ridiculous, man. So,
Man, Sly
you know,
summed it
it's
up real quick. Sly summed it up. Oh, wow. Hey, Sly summed it up real quick, real easy, too. He just ain't ran the wrong scheme, bro. You can't, you reckon somebody put a noose around in it? Are you crazy? That's a beat down.
Oh, Mr. KDL, would you like to say something right now?
The mere fact that a coach would say the words "putting a noose around someone's neck" in the year 2020 is just absolutely ridiculous, and it shows you the times that we're in now. There are a lot of people now that still live in that old good boy old era that, because of the president, yeah, I said it, because of the president, they feel they can stick their chests out and they can say just about anything they want. When you talking about putting it, now you're the same dude that sat in this dude's living room with his mama and told him, I got him. I'm gonna guide your young man for the next 4 years, whatever. You the same dude that did that. And now he got to call his mama and be like, you ain't gonna believe what coach said. So it's just it's crazy, man. The mere fact you even say that, the mere fact that there's a noose in the NASCAR races garage, like this is the world we live in, man. It's ridiculous. He should have been fired. He resigned. He beat him to it. But like Sly said, he's gonna get another job. He's gonna get another job at a major university. He ain't gonna go down. He's gonna get a job at a major. He's gonna let this guy down. And he's gonna get another job, which is even more ridiculous. And it speaks to where we are in America. That's it.
Well, as Gandhi said, these kids today are buck wild. One of these coaches is going to come up missing. So those could be strong facts. We're gonna keep this. We're gonna keep this this train moving. And since we're talking about NCAA basketball, right now there's a possibility that there will be 30 teams that will play in the Mohegan Sun Bubble in Connecticut for possible tournaments in November and December. Now, this is at a Indian casino reservation where they're going to go into like a bubble for the month of November and December to do like the Thanksgiving tournaments, these big like Coaches for Cancer, you know, all the tournaments that's up in New York. So what's your thoughts on that, Lefty?
I say great idea, especially to put them in a bubble where they don't have to travel back and forth. Shouldn't affect them. I mean, most of them doing schoolwork virtually anyway. It's also a way to keep money coming in, especially to donate to those charities that those tournaments that are a big part of. So I think it was a great idea, and the fact that you had a venue that was willing to do it, to let us and 30 teams. Now that's a lot. Now we'll see how it's going to work. I think 30 may be a little too many, as far as in a bubble. But I definitely like the idea of limiting the travel, and the guys and the kids still get to play basketball, man. And for us college basketball fans, we still get to see college basketball.
Well, I agree. It's a very good idea, but let me frame this up. It's going to be men's and women teams there. Now, these are college students, all in the bubble, men and women. It could go down. So I see you smiling there, Pat. Sly Dog. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk on that.
Hey man, look here. Yes, sir. Hey, look here. I don't got no issues with them. They all in the bubble. They all gonna be safe, and they all gonna be shooting the club up. Let's go.
Pat, come on, man.
Hey man, I think it's a good idea too. We've seen the bubble. We've seen how the bubble works for the NBA. Hopefully they can contain the kids and not have them out there wilding out, because that's a lot of kids in the bubble for 2 months. So hopefully they can keep them all in check and everybody just follow the rules. And if they get, I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably have them testing periodically, if not every day, like the NBA was. I think it's a good idea, man.
Now, KDL, former player in college, what would have happened if your team from Kansas, right? He was down in Kansas. So if they put you in a bubble with, say, 15 girls teams and you had 15 boy teams in there, tell me what was going to go down.
Well, we'd have been at Walgreens a lot, gas stations, getting a lot of
You can't lead a
things
bubble.
that you need in the bedroom. But that's neither here nor there. I think I would get on my tangent. I would get on my soapbox and tell y'all once again, athletics are more important than school. I will get on my soapbox, but I'm not going to do it. It's a good idea because you're doing it virtually now anyway for our school. So it's a good idea. Back in the day, you had to actually go to the library and do stuff. But I won't get on my tangent. It's a good idea. I think 30 teams is too many. Because now you got women's and men's basketball. That is too many teams. Because where are the hotels? They're supposed to be disciplined for 2 months. You asking 18 through 23-year-olds to be disciplined for 2 months out at somewhere at the road, on the road somewhere for 2 months. 18 through 23-year-olds. DUIs can happen. Bars can happen. Like, it's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with college kids. I'm just saying. It's a good idea. Like I said, I'm sure they could be tested every day. You know, all teams can be tested and all that. So it's a good idea. But there are a lot of things that can go left.
Nah, I actually believe it's gonna be a lot more.
Good luck.
I believe it's gonna be a lot more contained. There ain't gonna be no partying, hanging out at the pool like the NBA. The NBA was a little different. They built them barbershops and all that. I think they're gonna be a little more contained. I think they're gonna be a lot more contained in college.
More restricted.
Kevin Lauder would have 5 children if he was put into the bubble. Those are facts.
Those are facts.
Kevin Lauder was chicken wings. What's up, brother? All right, man.
The Me Too movement was started. The Me Too movement would have started in the early 90s.
All right, moving on, man. We had boxing over the weekend. Teofimo Lopez defeats Vasily Lomachenko. I can't say those names again. I'm only going to say them once. It was a split decision unifying the light heavyweight belts. Four belts in one night. You know what I'm saying? Unified. My problem with that one fight, if you the champ, you got to go in the ring and own the ring. You can't be passive. And you know, he let Tio push the envelope on him. Lopez was all on him. He jumped on him early, and I think that's why he lost his 3 belts to the young boy, 23 versus 35. You know what I'm saying? So he lost his belt because he wasn't active enough. He didn't push the envelope. He didn't own the ring. Pat, no, you watched the fight. So what was your thoughts?
I believe that's exactly right, man. Listening to the commentators, they always say Lomachenko usually starts out slow. He starts around the fourth round trying to size up his fighter. But also the problem was he wasn't ready. He was ill prepared for Lopez. Lopez came out the ring fight. They didn't think he was gonna last that long. So they thought Lomachenko was gonna pretty much knock him out or something like that. But Lopez stood up to him and he came out with the win. I think he did a great job of boxing. It wasn't just a slug. That's what he boxed.
KDL, I know you watched the fight with our resident folks, DJ Gandy. And what was your thoughts on the fight? Because I don't think you agreed with the way it was called.
I don't agree with the scorecards. I think the right person won, but I don't agree with the scorecards. Somebody had it 119 to 109. Like, the scorecards was absolutely terrible. But you as a fighter who's fighting for a championship, you can't not fight for the first 6 rounds. Don't throw punches or whatever. The couple punches he threw were accurate. he didn't really start fighting until the set. Like he won the 7th through like the 10th or something, or 7th through like the 11th, but it was too late. Once Lopez stood up in the 12th, it was over. He had already won the first 6 rounds. So you can't start fighting round 7 and think you're going to win a championship fight. No. But the scorecards were terrible. Scorecards was absolutely, I don't know what the judge was looking at. That was terrible.
And
But the right person won.
Read Gandy's comment right quick.
No, I got it. What happened was dude had a shoulder surgery right after the fight. So it turned out that he was hurt. But this is my thing. You can't make an excuse.
You got his shoulder hurt when?
No, he had shoulder surgery right after the fight. So he claimed that he was hurt going into the fight. But to me, I'm not going to put my 3 belts on the line if I'm hurt. I mean, you injured, opt out of the fight. I mean, you have to postpone
but that's money. That's money though, Lefty. Like,
I know.
You're missing away money not fighting. And if he could go out there, if he's going through training camp, through sparring, through all that, and he knows he's hurt, he knows he can't do it, but he knows he wants that money. I mean, if I could do it without hurting myself even further, I'm gonna go through with the fight. But knowing that he wasn't 100% now, like I mean, the fight was good. Like Teofimo, he fought a good fight. He did. He boxed with him. He moved when he moved. He did everything he had to. The thing is that when you saw the Loma finally understand where he was as far as his weaknesses, he couldn't fully put the pressure on him. His combinations were beating him, but he couldn't put the pressure on him. He couldn't turn it up because of that right shoulder. And he's a right-handed fighter. He's orthodox.
Right. I agree with you there, but the whole problem is you got 3 belts on the line. You could have pushed that back a month. I mean, you could. I don't know how he budgeted his money, but you got to push that back. There's no way you can go in there against that young lion with all to unify the belts. That's huge. Unifying that unification is huge. I'm not going in there. I'm not going there less than 100%. I'm not.
He looked healthy round 7 through 11 though, right? So
yeah, but there was no power. He ain't had no power behind the punches. Bro.
He looked like he was throwing the punches. He looked like there was no oomph behind the punches, especially with that right. Like usually he hits somebody with a right, he'll catch you with the left, and then he's moving. Although Teofimo was moving with him, he was still able to come inside and land those combinations. It's just the combinations weren't doing as much damage as I thought they should have. Like I was like, damn, he's just taking punch after punch after punch. But if that punch is like, I would have quit.
It's no power behind it.
There's no power. It's like pulling your punch. It's like your power punch is pretty much just a check.
And they said the same thing with Pacquiao after the Mayweather fight, that he had shoulder problems. But that wasn't for a belt. That's a mega fight. I mean, you do that, but I'm not putting my 3 belts up if I'm less than 100%. That's just me.
That's true.
Well,
I kind of agree with Ivan too, because you ain't gonna turn that money down.
Mm-hmm. And plus, you're the champ. You know what I mean? Like you're the champ. Like if you go walking away, this dude's been talking about you, your family. He's been slandering your name. I equivalated to Rocky 3 when Clubber Lang was getting his ass out. You know what I'm saying? Hey, woman. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's doing. Hey, woman. Well, that's what he did to him. He baited him out, and he knew he was hurt. He got him at the right time.
Hey, since we talking about Clubber Lang, I want to talk about my cousin Edgar. So everybody, the fans, the panel, whenever I say don't let me call my cousin Edgar by way of KJ Joyce, she came up with the phrase, I'm stealing it. My cousin Edgar. Man, Edgar Berlanga, 15 first round knockouts in less than 93 seconds. Man, he was on the undercard. This dude put that whooping on the brother. I mean, he bust his eardrum. He split him across the top of his head, top of his eye. I mean, he put them things on him, man. And it was somebody should have called the police and had the police come and arrest this dude immediately. Lucky Lefty, he watched the fight with me, man. So tell me your thoughts on it.
Hey, man, I ain't seen nobody whoop dudes like that since Young Mike. Since Young Mike Tyson, man. This dude got hands. I'm surprised, it's not a bigger buzz out here about him. I'm shocked. I mean, he is beating dudes up. He actually should have been arrested for assault. He beat the hell out that man. But then they showed the highlights from his other fights. Man, the dude, man, I mean, he don't even look that strong, but the power. when he land, it's just over. He bust dude eardrum in like 60 seconds. That's something amazing, man. I'm shocked we are not hearing more about this cat. I'm following him now. I'm gonna make sure I follow him, but they got to get this dude on the main event card, man. They got to.
I wanted him to slide because he used to getting hands put on him since he went to Sin High School, and he had to go through all some of the roughest neighborhoods to get to school. So he used to getting hands put on him. Lamar, what's your thoughts?
First of all, my name's Sly. Second of all, hey man, look here. Edgar is a beast. And Timo had the nerve to mention his name after the fight. He will beat the brakes off Timo. The brakes off him. So I don't know, man, who's gonna fight that dude, man. But whoever it is, good luck.
Hey, some promoter right now,
because he
man, got to be blowing his phone up, man. You got to get this dude on the big card. You got to.
Yeah, you got to get on. You got to get on the big card. I agree with that. Dude, 15-0 with 15 KOs in the first round. Now let's think about that. 15-0, 15 KOs, first round, all 15 fights. I had never heard of the dude, to be honest, until we watched it.
What was the last time you heard about somebody doing damage like that in the first rounds?
Man, Mike Tyson.
Exactly.
That's the last person I saw do that.
I don't think many people won't smoke with it.
2 or 3, if that. But he the most first rounds. It had to be Tyson.
Dude, you can hit a power behind his punches, man. Like, dude is a hitter.
Man, 15 fights, 15 KOs, all first round. Let that sink in.
And not even deep into the first round. It's early. He get you in like a minute and a half. He didn't already laid you down.
Like you say, he has to be on one big card. You know what I mean? He got to be the fight next to the main event. Like, people got to see him.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, man. When I saw a dude come to the ring looking like Drake, Pretty Boy, I was like, oh, okay. He got power. I wasn't seeing it just in the look. But when that young boy got in the ring and that first punch landed, I had my phone about to call 911. So moving forward in sports news, Stan Van Gundy, new coach of the Pelicans. Is this a plus or a minus for this team? Pat.
I can't hear nobody but I can't hear nobody but Kevin, bro.
Did you hear my question to you?
I hear you.
Oh, well.
Go ahead. Move on.
All right, Sly Dog, go right ahead.
Well, for me, man, for you know, I like Stan Van Gundy personally, man. He's a good, I mean, you know, outside of basketball, man, he speaks on some good issues, social justice issues. But Stan Van Gundy, man, is just going over and over again. I mean, the retread. Stan Van Gundy, man, is gonna fall out with them young boys right away. I mean, we got a dude over there that don't know a shot. He like every shot he take. And then you got Zion over there. I mean, come on, man. Stan Van Gundy is an old school coach, man. He had no business taking that job. You know,
you don't think that's what they need is an old school coach to get some structure about themselves?
No,
because they don't have no structure. They like you said, you got Ingram over there shoot first. He can stop all that shoot first and run the offense through.
It's just a coach. What should have happened is this. My man that took the Clippers job should have took that job. And Stan Van Gundy should have took the Clippers job because it was more veterans.
What does Ty Lue prove? Ty Lue ain't proved nothing, man. He had LeBron. LeBron coached that team. Come on, man.
But what I'm saying is Ty Lue is more relatable to them young guys than Stan Van Gundy. That's a horrible mix. Stan Van Gundy be gone maybe by 2022. He's not going to work out there.
The only person that Ty Lue can relate to is AI, as he stepped over him after he gave him the 3-piece in the corner.
Wow.
I think.
That's petty.
That's petty, and I think you're being real disrespectful. I don't think I'm not saying Ty Lue is the best coach, but what I'm saying is if Ty Lue took a job, he should have took that one. To take that Clippers job, he can't. They're gonna ignore him too. So it's like the two coaches need to flip-flop, in my opinion. But Stan Van Gundy was a bad choice. I don't like the hire. The Pelicans are who we thought they were.
I think Spy has a valid point. Stan Van Gundy's an old school coach. If I was them, I probably would have waited out, seen what happened with LA, and I'd even try to see if I could have got Jason Kidd, somebody who's more relatable to the younger guys. They would have played for Jason Kidd. As we see when in Miami, Stan Van Gundy couldn't get that team together. He had a great team at that time. They wouldn't even play for him right. They should have got somebody younger.
I'm sorry, fellas. I can't agree with you guys on this. Trying to relate to the young guys. That's the problem. What's wrong with the league now? They have no structure and they running wild, do what they want to do, play the way they want to play. Get some structure. You'll never see a Pop team work like that. You'll never see a Phil Jackson team work like that. You'll never see a Pat Riley team work like that. Come on, man. Structure.
But see, the difference is what I don't like about you, Napoleon. You didn't say that when the guy got hired over there for New Jersey. You didn't keep that same energy. They ain't gonna have no structure.
Brooklyn.
You didn't bring up
Brooklyn, not Jersey.
Well, it don't matter. You didn't bring up any structure over there. The bottom line is this: Stan Van Gundy should have never got hired. That's going to be the most dysfunctional team ever, the Brooklyn Nets, and they got veterans. That's going to be absolutely pathetic in a comedy show. So stop, man.
First of all, Sly Lamar Dog, I had issues with the Brooklyn choice as well because he's never coached at all. That was the players campaigning for him, and that's what the problem is in the league, that you let these young players control things and they don't know no better.
But I brought them up though, because they did the same thing. They got who they wanted in there. That wasn't right neither. They basically, Jacques Vaughn led that team with nobody. But what they did was KD and them went and picked their own head coach without no structure so they could do what they want to do.
Didn't even get a man a chance.
Right. So look at that veteran team. Again, Napoleon, what should have happened was Stan Van Gundy should have went somewhere else. Period and point blank. Go ahead, Kevin.
All right, I'm gonna let Kevin get in on this.
Kevin Dwayne Lowry.
As much as this pains me to say, because I thought I would never do this in life, I actually agree with Slot. Stan Van Gundy should have never took that job because he will fall out with those players. If you remember, Shaq got him fired in Miami. And when they had a young Dwayne Wade, Shaq got him fired. Why? Because he's unreliable. Dwight Howard turned on him. So I'm tired of all these retreads, man. I will get on my soapbox about the young brother, Sam Cassell, the dude, the assistant coach in Philly right now, Neil Lowe. Excuse me. Neil Lowe's husband. Guys like Nate McMillan. See, guys like that are not getting opportunities. Guys like that are not, Nate McMillan and Alvin Gentry, guys like that are not being rehired. But you bring back Thibodeau, you bring back Stan Van Gundy, you bring back about to be Jeff Van Gundy, bring these retreads back, and you are mixing. I don't care if they've been around the game and announcing. They're not, it's a younger league now. You need a younger coach with them. Why you ain't throw Nate McMillan down there with Zion? Why you ain't get Sam Cassell his first opportunity, right? But you bring back these retreads, then you keep hollering structure, right? But you won't give the young cats the opportunity to build structure. What I mean by that is, how come Sam Cassell can't get his first opportunity? Nate McMillan get fired. Why don't you put him down there with Zion? How come it's always these retreads from the 1980s and 90s that you want to keep giving jobs to, and you're not giving opportunities to other guys? I know. Stan Van Gundy gonna fall out down there. You know that.
Well, let me a few things real quick. I don't agree with the Ty Lue thing because I think Ty Lue has put in his work. He was an assistant for years, even before he got the Cleveland job. And with the Clippers, he kind of developed a relationship with them cats last year. He was around them all season. So I can see why they just boosted him up in there instead of bringing in a Stan Van Gundy or somebody. And you never know what's going to happen. Now, as far as Stan Van Gundy, I don't agree with the hire. I know he's a good X's and O's guy, but you got to be able to relate to these younger players. And I'm with Kev, though. I mean, I'm tired of the retreads too. And Nate McMillan's a retread. Alvin Gentry's a retread too. They are retreads to me. It seemed like the NBA would have followed the trend after Boston brought in Brad Stevens, Toronto brought in Nurse. Bring in some fresh blood, man. Like, stop trying to, reinvent the wheel with these old heads coming in that were successful in the 90s and the 80s. Instead, get some cats in there and then find you the next, instead of trying to find the next Pop, try to find the next Brad Stevens and the Nick Nurses and those kind of coaches.
And Denver coach.
Denver.
Mike Malone.
Mike Malone. Denver coaches. I think was it Wes Unseld Jr. Wasn't he up for the coaching job too?
He's out there.
Try some of these new cats. I think Sam Cassell would be a great coach. I think Sam Cassell would be. He's put in his time. He's been an assistant. He sat there. He didn't learned it. He played for some great coaches. He played with some great players. That dude deserves a shot. We'll see what happens in New Orleans. I agree with the panel though that I don't think Stan Van Gundy is going to last 2 years. He's going to fall out, and they better be careful because Zion's going to get out of there. Zion, when his contract up, he gonna roll.
That is true. We're gonna keep this train moving. We're gonna get into some smoke and ash, man. Lose yourself. Who has the most pressure going forward? Matt Ryan or Andy Dalton? Smoke or ash? I'm gonna go to you, Sly Dog. You smoking or you ashing?
Well, the problem is this. I'm gonna ash to either one of them. I mean, come on, man, let's stop. Andy Dalton is behind. Andy Dalton time is up. Matt Ryan still got enough left, but they want to go younger. So, I mean, I can't say either one. Matt Ryan just needed. I think Matt Ryan is gonna get a new location next year. They're gonna trade him. Somebody will take that heavy contract. And Andy Dalton, he's a career backup from this point on. So, if I got to ash, I say neither one of them.
Pat, what's your thoughts?
I'm gonna ask for Matt Ryan. The only reason I'm gonna ask for Matt Ryan right now is because Matt Ryan is a starter. But right now, he's to the point where he's gonna wind up being a backup in there. Andy Dalton, he's just filling in right now. The only reason Andy Dalton's in there because he came in for that. If it wouldn't be for that, Andy Dalton still be on the bench. So right now, I'm gonna say Matt Ryan, man. Pretty soon he's gonna be on the bench.
KDL. Let's go, KDL.
I'm gonna smoke to Andy Dalton having the most pressure on him right now. The answer is not Matt Ryan because Matt Ryan, Atlanta's gonna blow that up. He's either gonna be traded by the trade deadline or he's gonna be traded in the offseason. Matt Ryan, to me, just needs a new destination. It's over in Atlanta. That gig is up. As far as Andy Dalton, because of the position he's in, because of the division he's in, he should at least get them to the playoffs because let's face it, Andy Dalton is on a 1-year contract. He's auditioning for another job. So the pressure is on him to stay in the league, to me. Everybody knows that's Dak's job when Dak gets back. But for now, your job is to get him in the playoffs, right? Because you're the quarterback. And you're also auditioning for another job next year if you still want to be a starter. The answer is Andy Dalton. I'm going to smoke to that.
Wow. So you just said
Okay, Lefty. Okay, Lefty, I'm going to come to you with this smoke or ash. To MVP or not to MVP? That is the question. All right. You got Russell Wilson, Ryan Tannehill, and you got Derrick Henry. Those are your top candidates right now in week 7 for the MVP. The last non-QB to win an MVP was in 2012, and that was Adrian Peterson. So who you smoking to and who you ashing to?
I'm a smoke to, of course, Russell Wilson, of course. Smoking to Russ. I got to smoke to Derrick Henry too. Tannehill, I'm an ash. He's having a solid year, but I think primarily it's because he has a hell of a running game. Now, don't get me wrong. Tannehill done revived his career. He done revamped his career. He done came back. He throwing some down. Everybody gave up on him, but man, you take Derrick Henry out of that offense. I think Tannehill lay bricks. I think so. And Russell Wilson, to me, he's gonna run away with it. But I don't know if Derrick Henry pop off another 200-yard game or two in Tennessee go far, he could sneak in and take it. But I'm definitely smoking to those two on the Ash Tannehill.
Sly Dog, you seem like you got a lot to say about Lucky Lefty's comments, so I'm gonna let you roll. Let's go.
Well, everybody want to go with the obvious, which we'll see tomorrow night, Russell Wilson. But I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna smoke to Ryan Tannehill just for argument's sake. Ryan Tannehill leads the league in play action passes. He's number one. He's number one in the deep ball. You need to respect Ryan Tannehill because that shows you how bad the system was in Miami. He ain't that Ryan Tannehill. He ain't
But
Ryan.
Slide, not to cut you off, but isn't that because of Derrick Henry the play action works?
It's because of Derrick Henry the play action works. But what I'm saying is Ryan Tannehill still got to get the ball, man, down there. You act like Ryan Tannehill playing with a Julio Jones. He playing with some okay receivers. Okay?
AJ Brown is solid.
AJ Brown is average at best. What I'm telling you is this. You got to look at Ryan Tannehill numbers, man. Ryan Tannehill numbers is better than Josh Allen's, okay, who everybody had in the first few games as the MVP, okay? I'm going to smoke to Ryan Tannehill. I think you need to give him a little bit more respect. Terrible hat.
I wasn't disrespecting Tannehill at all. I think he's playing Pro Bowl level, but when you take the three between Derrick Henry and Russell Wilson, man, I think them two will blow him out in the votes.
I think Russell Wilson is probably going to end up getting it if it stays like it is. Russell Wilson's probably going to end up getting it. But you can't sleep on Tannehill because Tennessee is undefeated. They're going to end up having a good record, right? They're going to make the playoffs. So you can't sleep on Tannehill. He's night and day for Miami. Like that's a whole different dude that you're looking at now that used to play in Miami. That says a lot about Adam Gase, but that's neither here nor there.
He'll get most improved.
He might. I don't think they'll give the MVP to a running back. I just don't. I think if it's quarterbacks in the mix, they're going to give it to a quarterback. Trust. Derrick Henry had a hell of a year last year. He won an MVP running. The only reason he's in there now is because Tennessee is undefeated. But they'll take his quarterback before they give it to him. Even though he's a bad man, don't get me wrong, and he has a lot to do with that offense, they're going to give it to a quarterback before they give it to a runner.
Hey, I am now dubbing Derrick Henry as the Mountain. I don't know anybody that watched Game of Thrones out there, but he is now dubbed for this show as the Mountain. So, Pat, I'm going to come to you with this smoke of ash. Isaiah Thomas versus Michael Jordan. So from now, just the other day, Nick Wright made a comment that Mike would be trashed without Pippen, right? So does Zeke still have the right to still trash Michael Jordan? Smoke a ash, Pat.
Man, I'm not asking that crap. Zeke ain't got no reason to be still upset with Mike. Why should he be upset with Mike? Because him and Mike got this little ongoing feud because he walked off the court. You ain't gonna tell me that Jordan ain't gonna be known without Pippen. You can't tell me that because we can't go back and tell you how good he would have been without Pippen. Was he great? Yes. Did Pippen help him to get greater? I believe so. But what Isaiah talking about, Isaiah just bitter, bro. And he's been bitter all these years. It's too long to be bitter, man. It's time to get over that. Be a man. But Nick Wright's stupid. That don't even sound right to me, bro. Go ahead.
Well, you know, Isaiah is the only person that can lay claims that he beat Larry Bird, he beat Magic Johnson, he beat Michael Jordan. So does he got stake in the game where he can step up and he can make comments of this nature and be credible?
He didn't beat them by.
Without Bill Laimbeer and them. If that's the case, you can't say that, man. Everybody needs somebody.
Let's get out our feelings. Let's get out our feelings because this is Michael Jordan. Let's be objective. Let's be fair. If Michael Jordan can diss Isaiah, then Isaiah has every right to diss Michael Jordan. We can't get in our feelings once Mike do it, and now you're gonna say Isaiah can't. He has every right to say whatever he wants. They hate each other. Let's just be honest. They hate each other. They rivals. Kevin Garnett and them still hate LeBron now. They're rivals. It is what it is. So let's talk about his point. Let's not get mad because he said it. Let's talk about his point. He's saying Mike wouldn't have been nothing without Pippen. I can't agree with that. That's not to say he wouldn't have been the best player, but that's to say he wouldn't have been as successful winning championships if he didn't have Pippen. I think that's what he was saying. Not that obviously he wouldn't have been Michael Jordan. He's saying he wouldn't have been successful 6 rings without Pippen. That's a valid point.
Again,
That's
what
a valid
team, what player in the history of sports won something by themselves without any teammates? The Lakers had a team full of all-stars. You think Magic would have won it without anybody else on that team, without Kareem? Okay, Isaiah wouldn't have won it without his team. Bird wouldn't have won it without his team. Dude, he had one. He talking about one team. He talking about one team.
That's a fair point. See, we're getting emotional.
It's not a valid point.
Well, fellas, I love this debate. I love this debate. I mean, I think it's time for us to go on our first in the box. So, Ivan, can I get KDL on the screen and my man Sly with me? All right. There go them Lakers. So
and
now,
Karl Malone not got hurt. We done won it that year, but carry on.
My inbox question: should the Big Ten be counted in the AP Top 25 with no games played? KDL got the cons for not being in the top 25, and Sly got the pros for being in the top 25. Now, KDL, I need you. We on the time frame now. So I need you to go in, and I'm gonna allow you to go first. Let's go.
I don't think it's fair for a whole conference, and this is including the Big Ten and Pac-12. I don't think it's fair for them to come out of nowhere and decide to play all of a sudden, and then just get thrown back in the top 10, top 20, all that, with teams that have played for at least 2 months. That is not fair. And if you were a senior on any given team, and your team is doing well, and here come Ohio State, here come Michigan, here come Penn State, and they just overjump you, not being played because you decided not to, not being played a game, and they just come jump over you. You're saying, yeah, you got a chance to go to a bigger bowl. That's not fair to me. I don't care what nobody say. I know it's about money. This is all about Ohio State and the Big Ten, nobody else. I get it, but it's not fair to me. That's not fair. Now, I know Mr. Ohio State gonna go, so let him go.
So let's go, Mr. Sly Dog.
Well, first of all, the Big Ten is a Power 5 conference. Let's start with the pro first, okay? Without the Power 5 conferences, it makes the top 25 look illegitimate. It doesn't make it legitimate. That's the second one. Third of all, Ohio State is Ohio State is not only the largest college by student population, but it's one of the most powerful football schools in America. So basically, them going into the top 25 would have been no difference than a preseason poll, which means that usually you don't play first, right or wrong. Thank you. And if your team winning, it still doesn't affect with them coming in your eligibility of going to a bowl if you keep winning. So again, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, and all those. And to end my point, Wisconsin, but the Big Ten is more powerful from top to bottom than your beautiful SEC and your 12. Okay, so and the ACC. So that's it.
In itself, you can have the best records, Big Ten, overall than the SEC. I get it, but you don't matter more than the SEC. Those are facts. So if anybody was going to come in at the end of the year or whatever, it would be the SEC. You're right. The Big Ten is a powerful conference. Yes, they are. They're one of the top conferences in the nation. I get it. I'm just saying it's not fair to me. That's all I'm saying. I get it because it's all about Ohio State. Totally get it. I just don't think it's fair for you to decide to play when you decided not to play. Now you decide to play on Halloween, and now you just come jumping in the top 5 because you are that ain't fair to me, man. It's not fair.
Well, first of all, it's not Halloween. It's the week before. They started last night with Illinois. Okay. Second of all, Ohio State, Michigan, and all those are two of the most powerful schools in college football. So, which means again, without them and the Pac-10, even though the Pac-10 are the most terrible conference out of the Big Five, okay, you still need them teams because of who they are in the top 25. They start to November. Okay. So stop, Kevin. Stop, Kevin. The only thing you keep talking about over and over again, you don't want your Georgias, your Alabamas, your terrible Tennessees, your terrible South Carolinas. You don't want us jumping over them. Well, it's too bad and too sad. I'm out the box. I win again.
Bama, those teams will always be there. You know that. I know that. Again, I totally get what's happening because it's the Big Ten. It's Ohio State. Now, Michigan is number 18. That don't even matter. They play in Minnesota. They number 21. That doesn't matter. Ohio State and Penn State are the only top 10 teams in the Big Ten this year, number one. Wisconsin was like number 14. Iowa's in the team somewhere too. This is all about Ohio State. I totally get it. I'm just saying it's not fair because you decided not to play. Now you change your mind and you want to play. So now you're going to just jump in at the end of October over people that's been playing since September. That's not fair to me. That's my only point. I get it, but it's not fair to me.
Again,
Sly, last comment.
okay, again, did you know how the SEC worked there, Bernard? LSU went from number one to out of the top 25. That's what happens over there. They can't, it's the worst. Ole Miss is terrible. They are the worst conference in football, okay, from top to bottom. The bottom line is you need Ohio State, Michigan, all them schools in there to make the top 25 have any type of relevance. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fellas, you guys made your points. Good arguments on both sides. I call this one draw. Ivan, I think we're going to take a break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Ben, you're on mute.
All right, sorry about that, everybody. Like I said, welcome back. SmokeFellas are on location here at the Humidor in Laos, 1600 Ogden Avenue. Man, we out here paying tribute to Humidor in Laos, man. So we about to get back into it. What's your fantasy? What's your fantasy? So this is Sly Dog. So can you put myself and Sly Dog on the screen so we can go through these, play them or bench them? Sly Dog, you got QB Ryan Tannehill versus the Steelers defense. Give me your thoughts on it. You on mute, my man.
Let me tell you something. Steelers defense, man, been at it. I think they like if they're not number one in most of the statistics, they're pretty close second. But if I'm gonna take Ryan Tannehill because I believe Derrick Henry gonna give him some yards, he'll be able to do his play action, I say start.
Okay. So now for the running back, what about Joe Mixon versus the Browns defense?
Well, when the minute we wrote this, Joe Mixon got hurt. So
that's right. You are so right. So right.
We're gonna have to take Joe Mixon completely out of it. Let's pick another one, Ben. Let's go with Mike Davis against his former team that cut him. Let's go with Mike Davis and the Panthers against the Chicago Bears defense. Not against the.
He's going against the Saints.
Right, he's going against Saints. I'm sorry, he's going against Saints defense.
That's Bridgewater's old team.
That's Bridgewater's old team. That's what I meant. So look, I'm gonna go with Mike Davis, man. I think you need to start him. I mean, the Bears slowed him down, but other than that, he's been putting up numbers, man. Start Mike Davis tonight.
So let's talk about wide receivers. Robert Woods versus Chicago's Monsters of the Midway. What's your thoughts on that?
Man, let me tell you something. That boy 33 get burnt a lot, but he sure make it up. The young rookie, Robert Woods, Cup, both of y'all need to sit down. It ain't gonna happen, man. You don't start nobody on their secondary. Bears defense ain't giving up no points to a wide receiver. You gotta sit.
All right. So let's take a look at tight end. Hunter Henry versus Jacksonville's defense.
You start Hunter Henry and you keep him, you start him. Jacksonville ain't trying to win no game. Their defense is absolutely atrocious. He should have a big game against the Jags.
Okay, so let's talk about teams. Now this is one of the games of the week. Bills versus the Chiefs offense.
Now that's
the Bills defense. Now their defense against that high-powered Chiefs offense. Do you start them or you go on the waiver wire and look for you another defense this week?
Man, I think you need to go to waiver wire, man. The Bills, I mean, if you're looking for them 10, 12 points from the Bills defense this week, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it, man. Because I seen what the Rams did to them. You got to go get on the waiver wire. You got to sit that defense against the Chiefs.
They could have a possibility of having negative numbers this week.
Absolutely. I've been there and done that.
All right, let's throw a couple bonuses out there for the fans. You got the Cards offense versus the Seahawks defense. Now you got Young Murray out there. He's been playing good. You got D-Hop catching balls all over the place. What you think?
Yeah, that's one you added, which was absolutely atrocious. But I'm start the Cardinals offense all day. Seattle can't stop a nosebleed. I don't know who works, them or my Raiders. So
well, let me answer that for you. Your Raiders. But go ahead.
But anyway, you start the Cardinals offense. Russell Wilson's the only reason why Seattle won it. Their defense can't stop anybody. You start the Cardinals offense.
All right. So you heard it here from your resident fantasy savant. The jury is still out on that. But next week we'll have some more sit 'em or play them. Bring the team back in so we can get ready to get this NFL action started. So the breaking news right now is Antonio Brown signing a 1-year deal with the Bucs. Now, is this because the rumor was it was all Seattle. But now the Bucs slide right on in and snatch him up. Now, do you think this is because of his relationship with Tom Brady last year for that short period of time? Because they only had one game together, and it seemed like they connected and they played pretty well together. So, Lefty, I'm gonna let you start off with this.
I think the Bucks are making a big mistake as far as they doing this whole stack the deck, trying to put this super team, picking up in everybody that they can, but you taking away, from Mike Evans and Godwin, man, those boys can still ball. I know that it's been a minute since they still kind of trying to get their chemistry together. Just like when they brought in Gronk, took away from O.J. Howard, even though now Howard's out. So now, it kind of makes sense. But I think you hurt younger players when you take snaps away from them. They brought in Fournette, even though they had Ronald Jones, they had another young guy over there. So AB, I didn't see nothing wrong with the Bucks receiving core. I think AB would have been a lot better in Seattle. I definitely think being especially with AB and Metcalf would have been a hell of a receiving core. So I didn't really get the whole Tampa Bay even jumping in on it. But it seems like they just, because Brady's there, they're stacking their deck. What they're going to end up doing is messing up their younger players. If they don't win it, it's going to be a lot of regrets. A lot of regrets.
KDL, you seem to be nodding your head, so I know you got something to say. Let's talk about it.
This is all Tom Brady. Hear me? This is all Tom Brady's doing. That's his guy. Apparently they got cool, and he brought him in. That's Tom Brady. That's number one. Number two, I agree with Lefty. It's a bit. Unless you're telling me Mike Evans or Godwin is more hurt than what they're leading on, that's the only way you go out and get a dude who you're gonna have to throw the ball to, or he's not gonna be happy. So that tells me either Godwin or Mike Evans is more hurt. Evans is playing. Godwin ain't got back yet. So that's telling me Godwin is more hurt than what the Bucks are leading on. That's what it tells me. That's the only reason you go out and get a guy that needs the ball to be happy. I think he would have been a better fit in Baltimore, not Seattle, because Lamar Jackson ain't got nobody to throw the ball to. Russell Wilson has that boy Metcalf, who's becoming a star, and they got Lockett on the other end. I don't think AB would go in there, and I didn't see that. Baltimore, great fit. He probably didn't want to mess with Baltimore because his cousin is there. He probably didn't want to outshine his cousin, Hollywood Brown. It's probably why he didn't want to go to Baltimore. And plus, they just picked up Dez. Dez eventually will be on the roster. So Baltimore was out for him. I don't think the only thing this tells me, like I said, Godwin has to be hurt more than what Tampa Bay is leading on. That's why you go out and get a dude who you're going to have to throw the ball to. He needs his touches. It's the only way I can see it. And like Lucky say, they going for it all. This year they going for it. Like we doing this. That's the only way. That's the only reason they did it.
Now, listening to you speak on this, you brought a name up that I think is like the biggest surprise of football right now, trying to come back into the league, and that's Dez Bryant. So, what the hell is that? Sly.
What you talking about, Dez? Well, Dez. I mean, Baltimore need another receiver. Baltimore is grasping for straws. Antonio Brown, they knew they weren't gonna mess with him, so they need another. That's why the offense is not looking as good as it was. Hollywood Brown numbers ain't even looking good as it was. So now we starting to debate is what is Lamar Jackson, or what is their offense? Their offense has no identity. They need another wide receiver. They need to make a trade. They should have picked up the phone, called the Cowboys, and asked for Gallup. Hey, y'all gonna have to rebuild sooner or later. Let us take him off y'all hands, something. But to go reach for Dez Bryant, that is a complete reach. I don't get it. Antonio Brown still got something to offer. He went down there because he's so cool with Tom Brady. That's going to last 3 games, and it's going to be over with.
I mean, if you're reaching back for Dez Bryant, you might as well have put offers out there to Terrell Owens. PG-69. PG-69. Let's go, man.
He in the Hall of Fame.
I was about to say that, man. I agree with Fly, man. It's a reach. They need a receiver because they're starting to be one-dimensional. It's always going to be Jackson. He can't always do it by himself. And the only thing I can see with Antonio Brown is they just trying to load up, man, so they can have different options to try to take them all the way. That's the only thing I can see, man. We already know Antonio Brown is a head case, and I don't know if Brady can contain this man and keep him focused on what they're there to do, to play football. But he's a head case, man. So I don't understand it either. I don't understand either one of them actually. Antonio Brown must need some more money.
How you got no?
Hey, my thing I don't understand is with these teams that's going for it, like Baltimore, put in that call for Julio, AJ Green. Them cats are available, man. Like if you going for it, I wouldn't go get Dez Bryant. Dez was slow 3 years ago. He ain't got no faster. He didn't got older. So I don't. But he does practice squad, so it ain't no. I mean, it either make it or it don't. But I mean, if you really going for it, Julio and AJ Green out there.
And Dez led the league in drops before he got hurt.
True. You're on mute, Kevin.
I agree with that. I probably would have tried to go get AJ Green out of Cincinnati. I would have tried to grab one of Dallas receivers. I would have tried it's ways you can maneuver around. Then you go get a dude that's been sitting on the couch for 3 years. Now, my question is, how come Baltimore didn't go out to AB? You got Harbaugh there, that's a veteran coach. As soon as he acted out, they would have cut him. So as far as production, AB gonna show up in shape. He gonna show up and catch touchdown. He gonna do what he do. It's just that he's a head case, like PG say, and this is the same dude that went Facebook Live on a coach speak. It's the same dude that did that. So he can explode at any given. He can go down there complaining about his helmet. Like you don't know about the cat, man. You don't know. So I think Baltimore should have took a chance on him rather than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay trying to do a super team.
I agree with you, Kev, because at the same time, Henry Jackson was working out a lot in the summertime too, so they had already formed some kind of
Well, what y'all got to realize is Baltimore already signed the head case and had to cut him before practice. Harbaugh wasn't finna do that again. That's why. Y'all forgot they cut the fool.
You know what? I forgot he signed with them for a little while.
It was just that quick. Now, since we're talking about quarterbacks, Tua Tagovailoa, whatever his last name is, Tua has now been given the QB1 slot after Big Red down there, Fitzpatrick, has taken them to a 3-3 record. Now, nobody thought that Miami would be 3-3, and they've looked good in spurts, but you benched the man. He even came out and said that he was hurt by this. You know, he had to be in the QB room with the coach that basically fired him, and then he has to mentor the guy that took his job. So, I mean, this right here, this was I just think when Tua got into the game at the end of the game when Miami was winning and the crowd went nuts, I think this was all about, you know, money and the owner placing that call down and saying, "What's up, Lefty? What's your thoughts on this?"
You know, you feel a little sorry for Fitzpatrick, but at the same time, you know, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the chick you mess around with before you find the one. That's it. You just warm in the bed for a minute until, you know, to that real one come along, to wifey come along. So I mean, he had to know it was coming when they drafted to it. The same way with in San Diego, even though it was bogus how dude got hurt when Heber took over, but you had to know you was just a seat warmer. They didn't think they about to win anything this year. I mean, even though they 3-3, they're not looking at making no deep runs. So you got to get Tua in there, especially while the guys are kind of playing well. I mean, you feel sorry for Fitzpatrick, but it is what it is. He know his place in the league. He know his role.
So basically, you calling this dude a lifetime temp?
Yeah, man, exactly what it is. You bring him in on a 3-month contract and you move along. I mean, that's what he's doing. He didn't got paid a lot of money doing it. He should be okay with it.
But look, man, look. So Ryan Fitz defense. Let me come to his defense. You should have waited for him to turn into Ryan Fitzpatrick before you did it. See, eventually he was gonna turn back into who he is. That's when you make the move. You don't make the move when they're on a 2-game winning streak I'm sure they talked to him. Yeah, he knew it was coming. They drafted the man in the first round. Of course it was coming. But you wait for the perfect time. I think it was a bad time to do it because Fitzpatrick wasn't turning the ball over. He was actually balling. Yeah, they 3-3. They where they supposed to be, right? But he hadn't turned into Ryan Fitzpatrick yet. Let him do that first.
But the Dolphins are playing. The Dolphins ain't playing for this year. They playing for next year, 2022. They're not playing for this year. So you got to get to a reps. You got to start getting them reps.
Yeah, but not now. They're winning.
They're not about to win that. Go ahead, Sly.
Can I say something? If the Patriots lose, the Patriots will be 2-4. That division was winnable, period. They benched Fitzpatrick because if he would have won and they made a playoff spot, anything could have happened. They wouldn't have been able to bench him next year. Period and point blank. So they went ahead and the owner said, I'm gonna pull a move now. I thought we would be worse than what we are. We not. Let's pull it because we know when we start tour, I forgot who their next game is after the bye week. They're gonna get murdered. That's what he wanted.
It's the Rams. They got the Rams.
The Rams gonna kill him. That's what they wanted. So the best thing was to do. They didn't want to win the division. Pull them now. Come on, Ivan. Set them straight.
But go ahead, Ivan. I'm just saying, like it doesn't make sense to me. You got a guy, you got a veteran, and you got a guy who's injury prone, right? Who you known to be injury prone. You got a team that's flirting at 3-3. Hold on, this is gonna annoy me. You got a team flirting at 3-3, and they're doing pretty well. They're in every game. They're in every single game. You put your rookie in garbage time, and he gets the fans a little excited. This is a money grab, man. This is all politics. Ryan Fitzpatrick deserves better. He was leading that team. That was his team.
Thank you, Ivan.
And there's now I'm going to move my quarterback, regardless of who's coming up, regardless of the name. I'm not moving my quarterback who's leading my team, who's teaching my young guy how to be a leader. It doesn't make sense, and that's Miami Dolphins. That's the organization. That's
this was a wash year for Miami. This was a wash year for them. They knew it. It was all about Tua. It was all about.
But they're winning right. But Lucky, they're winning right now, bro. They're when the team is playing well. We know it was inevitable. We know it was inevitable.
Fitzpatrick is as old as Sly's knees. It's not going. You're not going to make it long. You can last for a few weeks, but eventually you're going to give out, and it's going to be over with.
Well, then let him turn into Ryan Fitzpatrick first before you do it. They're winning.
If he continues to lead the team, right? Let's say he leads this team. We'll never know now, but let's say he led this team to 9-7. Let's say 10-6. They're a team that could win this division, that AFC East. They could win. They could get either. Second. They're right in it. The Patriots are not the Patriots. I don't care with Cam or not.
I know, that's fact.
Not the Patriots.
Ivan, Mahomes set back. Alex Smith won that year. He still sat back there until the year was over. They went to the playoffs, and they started them the next year. The Miami Dolphins could have did the same exact thing. That was a terrible move, but that's the same organization that hired Adam Gase.
Yeah.
So what you expect?
Like everybody said, man, it was horrible, bro. Lucky, just to give you a reference, if what's our quarterback name? If he went out there and started winning, you would have had you'd have broke holy hell out there to pull him out that game to put Foles in. They should have pulled him out, man. The man was winning. You don't never pull out somebody when they win. That's like taking out LeBron and he's scoring 30 in the winning game. You gonna still take him out? No, you put him in there and let him finish it out, man. They should have.
But Mitch was 2-0 when he got pulled. Even though they was losing the game, he was still 2-0 when he got pulled, right?
All over several times that game. That's why they pulled him.
Just saying. I mean, look. When it comes to when you take these high picks and get these quarterbacks, the fans and organization are not trying to sit back and wait to put them in. Didn't matter. Fitzpatrick, he knew what he signed up for. He was just warming up keeping that seat warm for Tua. I know they winning right now. It was a bad time. I'll give y'all that. But at the end of the day, you know what it is, man. It's Tua's they looking at him like they next Dan Marino. They got to get that boy in there. They're going to do it as soon as possible.
Well, as I see, Lefty has woke up because he got that juice in him now. So this is the perfect time to go in the box. Give me Lucky Lefty. Give me KDL. Let's go. We in the box. Okay, in the box, we got the Chicago Bears are treated like the Rodney Dangerfield of the league when it comes to the media. Nobody's giving them the credit. We 5-1. Okay, and I know KDL is chomping at the bit to go in on this. So KDL, why are my beloved Bears not getting the respect that they deserve? Let's go.
This is very easy. First of all, you haven't beaten anybody. That's number one. Number two, you weren't picked to win the division. Yes, you're 5-1. You're doing above what they expected of you. Let me say that. You haven't beaten anyone. You haven't proven over the years that you can consistently beat Green Bay, Minnesota, the upper echelon of the NFC. You have not. Yeah, you beat Tampa Bay. That's your one win this year that you wasn't expected to win. They fans didn't expect them to beat them, but they did. But until you beat Green Bay twice, until your next 3 weeks, don't tell it. You 5-1. If they go out there and beat the Rams, they come home and beat the Saints, they go to Tennessee, now you're going to get the national publicity that you probably deserve. But until then, they want to see you prove something, right? They want to see you prove something first. Then you get the national pub. But until you do that, yeah, you got a good record. Okay. But let these next 3 weeks pop off. Lose all three and see what they say about your 5-1. As opposed to winning all three. See what they say about you then. You gotta beat good teams, man, and you have to do it consistently. Just because you off to a 5-1 record, they're not gonna look at y'all like y'all Seattle or nobody like that until you beat somebody. Let these 3 weeks prove, and we'll see. If they win these 3 games, and let me see if y'all agree with this. If they win the next 3 games, I guarantee you they'll put the Bears on the map. Guarantee. But until then, nope.
So KDL, I must say this: protect yourself at all times, because my man Lucky Lefty got something to say.
Look, at first I understand with the media because this is a offensive league and they want to see a lot of points and the sexy offenses, and the Bears offense isn't that. They're an old school team, play good defense. That's just what it is. So they don't win pretty, they win ugly, but they 5-1. And for Vegas to make them 6-point underdogs to a Rams team who only 3 wins are against the NFC East, by the way, against the pathetic NFC East, they only 3 wins. So they haven't proven anything. They went out and they just shit the bed to the San Francisco 49ers, who got blew out by the Dolphins the week before. So I think that line was ridiculous. That stat line was ridiculous with that. But I'm with Kev. If they win the next 3, it'd be a different story. Then you talk about 8-1. But they just not going. Khalil Mack's the biggest star on the bed. Nick Foles isn't a big star. Allen Robinson isn't a big name star. So the media is not going to give them pub like that. But I think the Bears actually play better when expectations are low. So I'm kind of glad we flying under the radar. Let's keep it like that. Keep focusing on Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, and keep focusing on all that. I know the Titans with Derrick Henry, the 90-yard runs, all that sexy. Let them keep focusing on that. Bears got this. I ain't worried about it. They're gonna embarrass the Rams Monday night. Trust they're gonna embarrass the Rams Monday night. The Rams are not that good. Are not.
Hey, Nick Foles. I'm gonna introduce you to my guy, Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but outside of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, what else is on that on the Rams team? On that Rams defense? What you talking about going against the Bears defense? That don't have a weakness in any area on the defense? Come on, man. What you banking on Jared Goff and Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp? Those the dudes you gonna give a 6-point line against a 5-1 team? That's just totally disrespectful.
Leonard Floyd.
What did you think?
Whoa, wait a minute. Ivan, you want to get in on some of this in the box? Let's go.
They do.
Leonard Floyd
is out there.
Look, I don't care. Like you said, if you want to talk about the records, we can talk about the stats, because The 3 wins that they won against the NFC East, those stats are fluff, man. Like they got to be fluff. Like those teams aren't that good. So for me, I worry about Aaron Donald and I worry about Jalen Ramsey. Everybody else is suspect. Everybody else is suspect. And you can't have 2 guys. You can't have 2 top guys in those areas on the defense and succeed. But if the Bears play defense like they've been playing defense and they get after Goff, and you know Goff can't move, he's in trouble.
Hey, Ivan, and they actually a suspect offensive pass interference call from losing to the Cowboys. How about that? Suspect call.
Whoa, shots fired. Like I said, protect yourself at all times.
Let's put this 5-1 record in perspective. You were a drop touchdown pass against Detroit from losing that. You had to come back to beat Atlanta. If the Giants would have had more time, the Giants would have beat you. The only legit win y'all had, y'all beat Tampa Bay. But a win is a win. 5-1 record is a 5-1 record. But let's put this 5-1 in perspective. Don't act like they just out here murdering cats and why we don't get our pub. Hey, dog, you should have lost to Detroit. You had to come back and beat Atlanta, who's pathetic. Then you beat Tampa Bay. That's cool.
So you agree with being a 6-point underdog to a 3-2 team?
Let me ask you a question. What do you think the spread should have been, Lucky? I'll ask you that. What do you think the spread should have been?
I'm with Ivan. I say 2 or 3. No more than 3. No more than 3. Just because they're
touchdown against a defense that doesn't allow touchdowns.
Right. That's like 6 points is huge in the NFL on the stat line. That's big.
That's fair.
That's disrespectful.
And you're speaking. Honestly, Kev, you're right about the Bears. Like it's 5-1, but it's a fluff 5-1 too. The thing is that if you go ahead and you're absolutely correct, the next 3 weeks, the biggest team, the Packers and the Titans are on the schedule coming up. Right, those are my 2 biggest. Those are the 2 biggest tests.
And you got the Packers twice.
Exactly, but everybody else is beatable on that schedule. The Saints are beatable. The Rams I know are beatable once you get to Jared Goff. Yes, they can run the ball, but if Jared Goff can't move his legs, if he can't move them twigs, he's going to get rocked. You're going to find an interception, and the field will get flipped.
I agree with that.
Wait a minute. Kev, you made a few points talking about the Bears had to come back to beat the Lions and all this. What is it about this whole comeback? It's been plenty of teams in the NFL this year that are winning. Look at Seattle. They had to come back and win. But nobody's saying that they're not a good team. They're not up in the upper echelon because they came back and won. That's what good teams will do. They come back and win. Yeah, they may have a bad quarter, a bad half, but then they come back and win. So how can you say that they're a bad team? Now, we all know I got to take a shot at your team. That's a bad team where you're up and then you lose. You let that team come back and beat you. A team of that caliber and the Eagles to come back and win. So the Bears, you can't say.
First of all, I didn't say that.
Hold on, real quick. Let me say this though. You saw last year when KC 5-6-1, one of the worst defense in the league, but they had the sexy offense. The Bears are just reversed. The Bears got the sexy defense, the mediocre, the below average offense. This league is all about offense and putting up points. That's why the Bears will not get props like that, because they don't go out and put up 30 or 40 points. And Foles or Trubisky ain't gonna give you 300-400 yards a game and 5 touchdowns. You're not gonna get all that with the Bears. It's just not how they win. But let's look at last year with Casey. That defense was pathetic. And they end up, but because of Mahomes, Andy Reid, all that, Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt and all these people before Hunt did the dummy. But that's why they got the props. It's all about offense, man. No league is gonna give. No, all you hear about is Tom Brady with Tampa Bay. But Tampa's defense is top 5 in the league. You don't hear nothing about them. All you hear is Brady.
But you don't think that at some point, if the Bears are to have a good year, you're gonna have to run into Seattle. You have Green Bay twice in your division. You're gonna have to run into teams like the Saints and teams like that, where you're gonna have to score points. And if you can't do that, then that's why you're not getting the pub as a 5-1 team. Yeah, you got a 5-1 record, but if you watch every game, they're like Yeah, they 5-1, but we'll see. That's exactly how they look at the Bears. Until you go out and, like I said, if they win the next 3 weeks, now you can't say nothing. Because they beat the Rams on the road, Saints at home, Titans on the road. Now you talking. Now you'll get the national publicity.
All you gotta do is go 2-1. You don't have to win all 3. You'll be 7-2. That'll be love. Everybody, they'll be on the map. Playoffs is pretty much locked in from that.
I give you that.
Well, fellas, we started off the show with a couple of difficulties. We coming to the end of this show, man. This ride, once again, we've had a wonderful ride. We in the boxes were off the chain. So I thank you guys for the panel because you guys made some good points, man. So we're gonna get ready to end the show. So I'll let you guys get your parting shots and so forth. So Katie, I'll let you go first.
Shout out to everybody that's been following, man. Appreciate the support. Per the usual, like we've been saying the last couple of weeks, please get out and vote. You do not have to wait till November 3rd. You can actually do it early. Everything is open to early vote. Do what you got to do. Get this idiot out of office. Thank y'all.
Sly Dog, close us out.
Hey, man, you know what? Thanks for everybody coming out. Thanks for listening. I want to give my parting shots out to ABC. ABC, Chandra Rhimes gave y'all the longest running shows on y'all station, and y'all let her go for $154 Disney World ticket to Netflix. That was absolutely pathetic and absolutely terrible. That's all I got to say.
PG69.
Thanks everybody for tuning in who keeps supporting the Humidor Sports Podcast. As Kevin said, let's get out and vote, man. We got 10 more days so we can select us a new leader. Let's get out there and do what we got to do.
Mr. 5 o'clock.
You're on mute.
My bad. I agree with what everyone else said. Get out and vote. The Shonda Rhimes thing was definitely ridiculous. But I want to give a special shout out, man. Happy anniversary to my Humidor family. It was October 24th of 2015. We shot our first show. That's when we were on YouTube. You know, this was all born from that day. So this is our 5-year anniversary, man. Thank you all for the support. We appreciate it. Keep following us. The TV show is coming. It's about to be crazy. We're actually about to shoot that now. But like I say, man, happy anniversary. Been 5-year run. We doing big and better things. Appreciate y'all.
I also want to give a shout out to the Humidor here in Laos for hosting us today, letting us take this show on the road, as well as doing our Humidor Shop Talk TV show. It's about to drop, so stay tuned for that. Man, it's gonna be live, raw, and uncut. And as the rest of the panel said, get out there and vote. You don't have to wait till the last minute. Get out there right now so our voices can be heard. Man, much love to all the fans. Much love to my panel. Man, everybody, put some smoke in the air, and we out.